Hi, everybody. This is Frank Clifford, and welcome to a new series called Astrologer Frank Answers. It's an opportunity for me to answer specific questions you have about your own birth chart or general questions you have about astrology or certain signs, planets, things that you may have read that have bothered you or concerned you, or things that you'd like some perspective on as well. If you'd like me to answer a question, you can create a free account at the website below. That's londonschoolastrastrology.com. Email us your question and your birth details, and I'll do my best to reply if I can. You can also find me on Instagram at Astrologer Frank. And of course, do feel welcome to visit the LSA website. We've got a lot of different events coming up. We have classes all year round, and lots of different approaches to astrology from different tutors and for different levels of experience too. Okay, so let's take a look at the first question for today. And it's a question from Gail. So Gail sent us her birth details. She says, I have an interesting issue. I struggle with relationships with people who are Aries and have many in my immediate family, including my ex-husband, my twin girls, and one of my sisters. My Mars is in the sign of Libra. Gail says, could this be why? Well, that could be an answer to it. I'll say a little bit more in a moment. Gail says, I wonder, is it because of the opposition of Mars in Libra to Aries? Maybe I'm supposed to be learning something from these very conflicted relationships. Yes, well, you're asking the right person, Gail. I'm an Aries too, and I hope this is an answer that will be encouraging rather than confrontational. Aries is an interesting sign. It wants everything now. It usually it has an impatience about it. It's looking for immediate results. It's looking for a goal. It's looking to rush and often run before it can walk. Now, your chart's very, very different, Gail. You're a Sagittarian, of course, with the sun in Sagittarius here, and that speaks very clearly of that fiery energy that Aries shares of let's go for it, let's believe. But many other parts of your chart speak more of fixity. We've got the moon in the fixed sign of Aquarius that doesn't like change. And we've got Saturn, the planet of control and responsibility, of course, on the ascendant in the sign of Taurus, where your ascendant is. So the way that you approach the world, which is your ascendant, speaks volumes here of why there may be conflict with Aries, because so much of this part of your chart here, Saturn rising in Taurus on the ascendant here, says slow down, be careful, plan what you want to do. Now, Aries rushes in where fools and angels fear to tread. It's one of those signs that doesn't feel it can be taught anything. It has to learn from mistakes and learn from trial and error very much. But your Saturn rising in Taurus says, slow down, let's be practical, let's be careful, let's assess the possibilities. Let's work at from all angles before we march straight in or jump in. The other reason, perhaps there may be conflict, is that Mars, as you said, your Mars is in Libra, and that's the skill of the diplomat, of saying, I care about how you feel, let's talk about it. Mars is given a very bad rap in Libra by some astrologers, when in fact it's the great negotiator. It's often found in the middle of conflict, having to put a lot of energy into people that create it. And maybe this is why you're surrounded by a lot of Aries who aren't afraid of conflict. And what I would say is part of what you're learning through your chart and in this lifetime is about how to negotiate this conflict with a cool head and invite people to recognize that, invite people to participate through negotiation and diplomacy rather than just elbowing their way in, which can often be the Aries way forward. So fairness, justice, the other person. These are things that are going to be extremely important to you. Now, Aries may teach you a lot about how to negotiate conflict, how to stand up for yourself, how to not always be giving everyone else first opportunity, or giving people the chance to always put their needs first. Aries are going to be teaching you about that, to be assertive, but also you can teach Aries too, to slow down, to think of the consequences, and also to realize that you can attract a lot more with sweetness, with charm, rather than with this me first, right now type of aggression that can be an example of Aries energy. Of course, Aries has different expressions, and you'll find a lot of Aries that do still have an impatience about them, but they also know how to negotiate. They know how to get the best out of people. And perhaps that's part of why you're a Sagittarian teacher here, to be able to encourage people to do that without it being a stubborn sort of a battle of wills or a stubborn standoff. So perhaps that Mars in Libra is here to help people negotiate, to recognize the unfairness of things if they're behaving badly or behaving in a provocative manner. But also you're here to learn from Aries too, to learn that if you end up putting everyone first, you're not looking after yourself. And so perhaps they're inviting you to be Aries in a way. Perhaps they're inviting you to, without the drama, without the aggression, but to put your needs first and to have the courage to put yourself center stage. So it's probably a two-way process, I think. That's probably all I would say about that, except the fact that Aries is on your 12th house cusp. And the sign on your 12th house cusp, particularly if you don't have planets there, can be a challenge to try to grasp what that really means. You being a Taurus rising, you know what it's like to be stable, strong, the rock of Gibraltar for everyone. The Aries on the 12th house cusp, it's sort of like you give your assertiveness, you give your me first to everybody else, if you want to put it like that. So that's another possibility. I wish you luck with it, and I hope you can teach them something, and that they also can teach you to put yourself first too. Email me if you're interested in having your questions answered. Go to londonschoolastrastrology.com, check out the prospectus there, and also send any questions along with your birth details, and I'll do my best to answer. Thanks, everyone. Take care of yourself, and take care, Gail. Bye-bye.